Welcome to Creative Whispers Part 3. Creative Whispers is a creative challenge and game hosted by Leaca Young. This journal is getting chunky, which I love, but the spine doesn't hold it together anymore. So let's put some paper scraps on it, like this. And if you know me through Instagram, you already know that I always start with paper scraps and a layer of gesso. It's just a start to get into the flow. I just randomly glue them on my page. And with the layer of gesso I add afterwards, they fade away in the background. I do this for a little bit of texture, but also those different kind of papers will absorb the paint differently, and that's what I like. This is rice paper, a very thin but lovely paper. I'm adding more different papers. Gesso in an even coat. I will add this little piece of muslin for the texture. I just used a glue stick here, and this will do because it's very thin. I like the raw edges. This is ink, so let's see what happens. I'm trying to add a smooth layer. You see, the muslin is still visible. I love this ochre color. This is ink, acrylic ink, and it says raw sienna, transparent raw sienna. While it's still wet, I try to move it around a bit. No perfection, just enjoying the process. Some acrylic spray paint. Pink, orange and ochre is one of my favorite color combinations. This is a wax crayon based on water-based wax crayon, and you can just smooth it out with your finger or add water. I'm playing with gesso to soften the color. It gets more yellowish now. And that's not really what I want. But it's all part of the process, right? I didn't have a specific plan, so I just do what comes up in my mind. I made several leaf stamps with different patterns from an eraser. I press the push pin into it to make it easy to use. And this clear stamp I stamped on tissue paper before. This tiny face I painted with watercolors. This is still the stage where I try things out, see what I'm going to use, and most importantly, have fun in the process. I've put it on the side before this page needs some contrast. So with acrylic paint I add layers in several colors, and I don't let it dry in between, but I blend the colors on the paper. And well, I like to see the different tones that appear. You always can keep adding layers until you are satisfied. For me, this will only act as a background and as a starting point. I make sure though that I only use warm colors because when you mix cold and warm colors together, they will get dirty. You can obtain the most beautiful neutral tones that way, but it's not what I want at this moment. I chose another portrait. My path begins. With bubble wrap, I want to stamp a pattern. Just black dots. If there's a part I don't like, I just add another layer. It's easy like that. It might not be better, but it's a spontaneous process. No plan, no goal. I let myself guide through the process. This is rice paper, and once you glue it down, you don't see the edge because it's so thin. I'm trying to make it more cohesive with the rest of the page. This is fluid watercolor, by the way. I don't choose to redo the whole page. It is a challenge to make it work like this. From time to time, I take the elements I might use to get inspired. Going back and forth, and I stop more often in between, just staring at a page to see how I can make it work. In other words, if it feels good. Here's the water-soluble crayon. Again, a tiny scrap of paper, and still a layer of gesso to cover the piece I added before. It felt too restless for me, and well, I got stuck in it. So now I see this feels better. When working with layers, it's in fact a continuous process of adding, covering and changing. And everyone has its own way of playing. For some reason, dots are my favorite. Just like round natural shapes. It feels like meditating. More tiny leaves from the clear stamp. When I'm in a flow, I don't take time to put the clear stamp on a print block. This is watercolor and the underlayer is gesso, so as you can see, it's hard to add. I always use gesso before I begin, and I always use watercolors. But then I make sure that it's a very thin layer and the paper can still cooperate. But I knew before, at least the harsh white has disappeared. I don't give up easily, and I still want some round shapes. This is an alcohol marker. They cover very well, but they are permanent. And when using them without gesso, it pushes through the other side of the paper. So this is a darker color, and now, well, I have my circles. With art journaling, there's always a way. This was once a part of a package, and well, of course, I kept it. And this frame I made myself, and I covered it with paper scraps. And quite coincidentally, they also fit together. A little piece of paper lace that I dyed with instant coffee, and some other elements that might work together. I cover the background with elements, but that's not randomly. And maybe it might be more expressive, of course, but I allow the background to play a part. So I always pay close attention to where I position the element. So here's the portrait, and I removed the text from the eyes. And let's see what this will look like. But in fact, that's for later in the process. I want to edit the page some more first. Small circles I keep from the hole punch. This is a fun clear stamp with all the tiny dots. I chose for the combination of both frames. Just positioning and, well, putting the portrait inside. I will highlight the eyes. I use an Inktense pencil, they are very pigmented. They are like regular watercolor pencils, but I prefer this quality. And this is how it looks together. And I like it so far. Some finishing touches. Now I'm ready to glue this together permanently. A little piece of vintage tape that I made. You always can continue endlessly just drawing a color. So the portrait looks more complete. It still needs something here. And well, it's finished. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it inspired and encouraged you to start creating yourself and well, take part of this lovely challenge. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to your interpretation. And don't forget to make your heart happy.